Thank you to Fishing Clash for sponsoring today's video. Fishing Clash has one of the most realistic graphics you've ever seen in mobile games. You can travel all around the world and fish in different locations right in the comfort of your own home or wherever you are. You no longer need to spend your time getting ready for that dream fishing trip. Your favorite hobby is available in your pocket. You can even fish from the shore or boat. Upgrade your rods and lures to compete with other fishers in order to catch the biggest fish. Upgrade your skills for even more advanced fishing. Take part in weekly competitions and events to develop your fishing skills. You can create your own clan and play with friends and family and compete with other players. Lures are the most important part of the game. The level of the bait most determines how big the fish you catch. By improving lures, you gain new levels and can unlock new fisheries. If you want to explore amazing fishing spots and enjoy chilling atmosphere from home, download the Fishing Clash app now. Use our code RedPoppyRanch to get a special reward for a total value of $20, available for new players only. With our gift code, you'll get a 3-star rod, 1 mythical lure, 50 luck power-ups, and 30 weight power-ups to help you catch bigger fish. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code to start playing now.
This is Reluctant Ruby. She wants to go to town. I'm not taking her to town, but I'll take her on a quick ride up and down the road. Let's go, get up. Come on. All right, today should be a pretty significant day. If I do everything that I'm supposed to by the end of the day, the first water tank will be sitting right here, and I will have dug the trench for the new water line. And if I'm really doing good, I'll have the new water line connected to the new tank by the end of the day. I first have to rake all of the rocks up, and then I'm actually going to put down a little cheap piece of carpet that I picked up, and then I'm going to set the first tank. It's time to unhook that tank and see if we can't set it down here. Okay, I had to reposition the straps a couple of times, but overall that went as good as it could have gone. I had to ensure that the opening, the lid, and the outlet both were positioned in a way that I could get to it, and I also had to position the straps in a way where I could get them off once the tank was set, because it's tight enough back there where I don't ever want to try to get down in there, because it would be hard to get out. There may not even be room for a ladder back in those corners. So, but as far as how the tank fits, assuming the other one fits the same exact way, I wanted it to be nice and snug in there like that. So I couldn't ask for a whole lot more that way, but now I need to get the water line exposed and hopefully do it without breaking it. And then there's also a direct bury 110 volt landscaping wire in there that's used to tell the well to shut off. And so I have to splice into that. So my next little project here is with the excavator. I'm going to dig down where I think the water line is and hopefully find it without breaking the line. So I hit the water line somewhere, yeah, right there, and I didn't stretch it too far, and what I'm hoping is the wire, I can see the wire right there. So I've got to dig that other end out to make my connection, but in the meantime I have a 2,500 gallon tank that's full of water and a 2,500 gallon tank that's empty, and now that this tank is disconnected from the water line, the plumbing system, I need to get the water from this tank into this tank. So as soon as I get the water line installed and repaired, all I got to do is throw a ball valve and we're back online. Water from that tank is now transferring to this tank while I work on the new water line. And since I've got it found, all I really need to do is dig back to a good spot to make a connection, dig the trench. The hard part is going to be getting the water line in here. I didn't want to dig the trench into this room until I had the room built. So some of this I'm going to have to do by hand. But first step is to dig it with the excavator. On this particular day, I'm pretty excited. I really wasn't sure if I would even get to this point in the project. Now, the last thing to do is to get the water line tied into the old water line that went up to the old shed and bring that water line down here to connect to this first water tank. Then once that's done, I can turn the well back on and hopefully Cedar and the kids don't notice a whole lot. But I have spent a tremendous amount of time thinking about how this project would go, and in spite of all the hard work, it's gone very well. Okay, the water line is connected. I'm gonna go open the ball valve, check for leaks, and start backfilling. The water has been transferring from that tank up there to this tank for probably every bit of 2 or 3 hours, maybe even more, and it's only about half full. So overnight, that tank will finish transferring down to this tank. Now I have to break that shed down, and then we're home free and I can do a little bit of dirt work around here and we should be good to go. And I'm hoping to do all of that tomorrow. I needed the upper tank to finish draining into this lower tank before I could move the upper tank, obviously. This morning I woke up and I had some concerns about how much water we had, so I threw that three-way transfer switch and I turned the generator on. I ran to town, I got some parts that I needed. I got back up here and what I feared was gonna happen happened. The tank overflowed, but it went right down in the trench and really didn't do anything. And so I'll backfill with the excavator and take care of that. But I need to get the shutoff switch installed so when the tank is full, it turns the well off. That wire that I ran yesterday just simply needs to be wire nutted to the existing shutoff switch that's in the upper tank. So I'm gonna run up there and take that out of that tank, bring it down to this tank and install it real quick and wire it up so I don't have to worry about the overflow anymore. Now I'm going to start backfilling and get as much of this backfilled as I can, and then I'm going to start breaking down the other shed so I can get the old tank out. I have the excavator for just a couple more days and I need to get the tank set, get the little bit of dirt work done around the place. But even the dirt work isn't as important as getting that tank set down in here. I can't put the roof on this place if I don't get that second tank put in here. So I'm going to backfill all this out here now. Shortly after building the original insulated shed that I've used for the last few years to keep the one water tank from freezing over winter, shortly after I built that, I began to think about how I could build that better, and I knew at some point in the not too distant future, I was going to have to do that. So over the last 3 years, I've probably spent more time thinking about this particular project than I've actually worked on it. As far as the new underground shed is concerned, the end result is exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to be insulated using the temperature of the earth, and I wanted it to be secure and tight so I don't have to worry about the animals getting in there. And I wanted it to be durable and to last. And I believe this checks all the boxes. Okay, this is finished grade right here, which means that all the way out here needs to be lower, or at least level with that right there. So I need to move quite a bit of dirt around, but that's not quite as pressing as getting the front of the old shed off so I can lift the last tank out of there and get it set down in here. Okay, I should have done the spray foam before I set that tank, but I forgot. So now I get to reach around, and anything above the dirt line really is all that I'm should be concerned about, but I'm gonna hit any of the gaps that I can see that look like they might leak in any way. You know, I wish there was a book, like a one-stop shop for building a homestead. Something that I could have used along the way to maybe give me some ideas. But the end result is there is no perfect way to do something. There's always room for a personal touch in there, and in my opinion, some of these things just have to be experimented with. The personal touch is my favorite part about the process. I'm glad there is no manual that tells you how to do this stuff, because if there was, I wouldn't think about how to figure out some of the problems that are right in front of me. The spray foam is probably a little bit unnecessary, but I'm not ever going to wonder if anything in this shed is going to freeze. The second I finished building this shed, I knew I had a limited number of time before it would need some serious attention. And I'm grateful that it's done its job, but I cannot wait until this thing is gone. I hate looking at it. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I'm going to let that foam set up overnight. I'm going to get some trash bags. Rather than throwing that insulation off the roof, I'm going to get some trash bags just to put it right into the trash bags. And then I'm going to get out here first thing in the morning. And then I need to get something to take care of the wasps. I've never seen so many stinking wasp nests. So I need to take care of that. And then I have to get this done tomorrow. Tomorrow is kind of the last day to get that tank set, but as long as I can get these wasps handled, I think I'll be fine. So okay, I let that spray foam dry overnight. I'm going to rake this up, get it cleaned up, get it ready to move the tank down here, and then I need to finish taking that shed apart so I can get the tank moved. By the end of the day, my goal is to have the final tank set down here in place, connected to the plumbing system, and then the dirt work. And then I want to get the majority of the dirt work done today. And if I can do that, then I'm going to spend tomorrow in the excavator working on the new property. Did I tell you how much I don't like being on roofs? Did I tell you how much I don't like insulation? These are 2x4s that I'm walking on, by the way. I suppose at the end of the day, it simply comes down to the story. There are those that create their own story. Then there are those that tell somebody else's story because their own individual story isn't worth telling. So initially I was throwing the insulation on the ground and I realized that it's just going to go everywhere and I'm going to make a huge mess. So I brought up some bags and I bagged it, but there was a whole ecosystem living in that roof. And the one thing that I have not found is any mold. So I will save that insulation to reuse somewhere that's not too critical. That stuff is not cheap and it doesn't exactly go away, so I might as well use it. Now I get to break the roof system down while I stand on it. Now, I've never met this person, but I've got to think that he's out there somewhere. But there may be nothing more sad than an old man that doesn't have some beautiful story to tell because he simply just didn't do much with his life. Again, I haven't met that guy, but I most certainly don't want to be that guy either. I would much rather be the old man that wears his story on his face with the lines and the wrinkles that come with a well-lived life. And ultimately, I would rather be the old man that people know has way more stories to tell than he's actually telling. And getting this project completely finished and this shed removed might just make a couple wrinkles go away when this project is done. Getting the second tank positioned and tied in is really one of the last big parts of this project. And having that done means I'm going to sleep great tonight. All right, so this valve's closed. This tank is 100% full. This tank is 100% empty. I'm going to open this valve. I'm going to open this valve. I'm going to make sure the hose bib is closed. The hose bib is here in case I ever need to drain one of the tanks individually without draining the other tank. I put a little dog leg on it because it would be hard to get a hose bib on otherwise. So this is kind of a big deal. Really, everything else from here is gravy. You know, I'm just doing some dirt work after this and building the roof. This was my biggest concern, was getting the tank set. So I'm going to check for leaks. And then this tank and this tank will equalize over the next probably, I bet it takes a day and a half or so. There's more room in here than I thought there would be, so there's enough room for me to put a ladder right here to bleach the tanks whenever I need to. Now I'm going to do all the dirt work and get all the dirt work done with the excavator. I'm going to spend the rest of the day doing that. Then I'm going to spend the next couple of days using the excavator over on the new property before I have to return it. And then the first part of next week I'm going to start framing the roof and get that finished up. But I'm excited. This is something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. Get these ball valves lined up. On our next video, you're going to get to see the conclusion of the dirt work and how this turned out around the new tanks. Then I'm going to start the process of building the roof and the front door, and I'm probably going to dress it up a little bit to make it look a little less like a mine shaft than it already does. But again, I wanted to say thank you guys for hanging around, and we will be back in just a few days. And again, thank you to Fishing Clash for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to click the link in the description or scan that QR code to download the app.